Want to start this episode off on a somber note, and I just want to say rest in peace to one of my sisters, senior chief that I served with on a former ship, rest well. She was active when she passed. And I know the whole ship was in mourning, and the whole ship is most likely still in mourning. A great leader, like leader to the core. From the first day I ever saw her, she was being a leader, like one of those just stand out people. I saw that she passed, didn't ask no questions. I put the symbol up and kind of just kept it going. So rest well to her. Just for her family and everybody else that's in mourning, I will not say her name. She know who she is. And if you know who she is, you also know who she is. But rest well to sis, man. And your people were inspired by you, still are inspired by you. And I'm sure they are going to do great things. And we are definitely at a loss without you.
I can hear myself through my headphones. Yes, man. Like, I feel real good about this right now.
Pay attention, because you are now listening to Permission to Speak Freely.
Let's get into this policy about not getting into policies. And this would be the last time we get into a policy.
Yep.
So I ain't going to go too deep into it. I'm going to just say it's an all-nav that came out, all-nav 02425. I think it came out just a couple days ago. And I'm going to just go to one line. It says, service members are encouraged to refrain from media engagement in matters of U.S. government, DOD, and DON policy. Right? So that's telling us everything else, like using the disclaimers and all that stuff, all the stuff that we've been doing. Right? But I'm not about to put disclaimers on every post on Instagram, TikTok. But all the stuff we've been doing is cool. But we have dabbled in it sometimes talking about different nav admins and different policies and stuff like that. For the sake of following that guidance and that policy, we won't be talking about policies on here, which, I mean, I don't think it's a big stretch for us. Most of what we talk about is lifestyle. We get people on here, they talk about leadership stuff. I thought, my own personal thought is I thought it was pretty cool that we did get on here and read nav admins. Tish, you look shocked. But I thought it was pretty cool that we got on here and we read nav admins and stuff like that, because the feedback we get from like a lot of young sellers is like, sometimes it's like, hey, we didn't even talk about that on my ship. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm not faulting nobody for that. Like, I can understand that. Like, sometimes it ain't enough time after quarters to like deep dive a new nav admin like how we would do. I can't say that as a chief in a division. I had enough time to deep dive a new nav admin like I was doing on here on this podcast. And I thought that was the benefit and advantage of us being able to do that. Now for the leaders, and I'm going to shut up because I'm sure Damon and Tish probably got something to say about this. Hey, now for the leaders, I urge y'all to, make time during these trainings, take another 30 minutes after y'all go over y'all subject, or 15 minutes, and deep dive these nav admins, these policies, and talk to your people about it. If you haven't been able to, some people doing a great job already, but if you haven't been able to, make sure you do talk to your sellers about it. A lot of us are not going out and just grabbing this stuff, reading and deep diving it. We need people that will go deep dive this stuff to do it so that the rest of the people could receive it, because it is out there. And I ain't even going to act like everybody going and reading them. So that's all I got on that.
Yeah. Not a big stretch for us, though. You know, like you said, Dumbo. And I agree with everything Dumbo said. But, you know, this is where we at right now, right? It's still, you know, we got a new administration, new policies, new things coming out all the time. So we going to adhere to them, too, though. Right. So as things come out, we'll come on here and talk about it a little bit, and then we'll keep it moving. Right. That's what we do. So easy there.
You was shocked, Tish?
I'm a little bit in shock. So I think that I'm always looking at the message behind the message. And what I feel, since his permission to speak freely.
Don't go too crazy.
Since his permission to speak freely.
Don't go too crazy.
It just seems like it's a preemptive hush because there's some bullshit that's about to happen. And it's like, it's probably not so much of them not wanting people to be educated, and more so that they don't want our commentary and they don't give a damn about what we think about the policy. Just follow the shit and shut the fuck up. Mm-hmm. That's what I take from it.
Yeah, it's a lot of that. Hey, this episode is pretty much going to be Yeah, we off the topic. we off that topic.
That's it.
Like, that quick.
Yeah.
We ain't talking about policy for too long.
Next chapter.
What we gonna talk about here, right, is Teach gonna kind of run it. I'm gonna tell y'all now, this gonna be an unedited episode. So everything that happened, somebody might had a sniffle, somebody might have it. David, he be clearing his throat. You don't know that, David, but you clear your throat about 400 times an episode. No. I edit that shit out. I be editing it out, y'all.
Oh man.
I got the little sniffles. So y'all gonna hear all this. It's gonna be unedited, unfiltered. We just gonna have a conversation. Y'all gonna figure out what the conversation is about in a second. And that's it. I'm gonna just turn it over to Teach, man.
Hey, listen. It is celebration time. It is time for PTSF. You know what I'm saying? We got some rock stars in the building. You know what I'm saying? Allow me to reintroduce the people in the building. We got Command Master Chief and Donald McCullough.
Yeah.
SWAW, don't get it twisted, people. And then we got also because when we make one, we make two, baby. We got Command Master Chief Damon Leggins, SWAW. Let's put some respect on his name. Congratulations, guys. Congratulations. Well deserved.
Thank you.
I really can't think of anybody else better, knowing y'all personally, knowing I know Damon professionally, but just seeing you, Damo, on here, your insight, I can just already tell how you are in the workspace. So definitely deserving. And with or without the pod, you two are amazing leaders. So, I just want to throw that out there. Y'all are hands down.
We got to start saying without the pod now. Yep. Might not be here forever, guys.
For real.
Right. So let's dive right. The first thing I want to know is where were y'all? What were y'all doing when y'all found out that y'all made it?
You got it, Damon.
Yeah, man. I was actually in the airport, right, when I found out, right? So I was touched down in Vegas, right? So, and I was been going back and forth, because the way it was told to me is like I was waiting on the nav admin, right, to come out.
We unedited. I don't know what the hell's going on in the background. It's like Vikings fighting or some shit.
No, boyfriend sneezing in the background.
God damn.
Oh, I was
Sounded like one of them Game of Thrones.
like, good gracious.
That thing is vicious.
So yeah, I was in the you got me laughing that back. So I'm in the airport, man, and so I touched down and I'm refreshing because, when Dumbo results came out, his came out, like Big Navy sent it out to the triad and all that stuff. Mine came out actually on a message traffic, right? So I was waiting for the message to come out. So I'm refreshing. So all morning, did nothing come out, right? So as soon as I touched down, I refreshed and it was there. So, now I'm kind of scared to click on it, man, because, so I'm kind of scared to click on it. So as me and Ella's walking through, I said, Ella is out, right? So I'm telling she and her walking on side of each other. So we kind of pull it to the side a little bit in there. I click on it and it comes down. So I'm scrolling through. Bro, my slow ass, man, I ain't even see my name. Ella saw that shit so fast, man. Like, time her eyes looked over and said, right there, Damon Leggins. I said, oh shit. Yeah, man. It was a good moment though, man. Like it was a good moment, man. Like I was very, very, like, to tell you the truth, very relieved, man. Because one thing about it, man, I was counting this limbo thing, right? A little bit. Because I know I'm going on deployment. I know the things that we're getting ready to do. So now I can kind of plan a little bit better. And I'm so close to deploying right now that I don't have time, to be doing a whole lot. It's planning when I'm going, where I'm going. I'm asking all these questions. And I didn't have the answer that I know what I was doing the whole time. And then the ship is more like, oh man, like you about to leave, you're not going to leave. I said, I don't know. Right. It depends on what happens and all this stuff. So big relief, big moment, loved it. And I love the fact that Ella was right there too.
Yeah. Was it like a big celebration in the airport?
Yeah, we were writing the guys a quick little drink. You know what I mean? Little celebration drink, man. You know what I mean? It was good, man.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, mine was so mine was kind of like Damon's, where I was tired of just wondering what I'm gonna do next as far as my life planning. I got a pair of socks in my damn hand, but I was wondering like as far as life planning, like damn, what's next? Like what's next? So I was like waiting for the results to come out, because if I didn't make Master Chief, I knew that what I was doing for the rest of the year. And if I did, then I knew that there's certain conversations that I need to have for the rest of the year. So that was really my big anticipation. I think I talked about on our last episode. So mine came out on a Monday. My CO wasn't going to be there all week, right? So I kind of knew that I was going to get these results and have to kind of tell my CO myself. We had it was Monday, so we had like some meeting or brief or something, and then I had a urinalysis, right? So I'm on my way to. We had a zone inspection. We did a zone inspection, right? So the whole time I'm trying to think about when I'm get these results. Am I going to do it right after the zone inspection, or I'll go to the gym? Because I also got this thing where I'm trying to go to the gym every day. And I was trying to go to the captain ain't there. My schedule kind of better, a little bit more free, right? So I'm like, I'm just hit the gym at lunch. So, but then my name got on a urinalysis list. So I'm like, all right, well, let me go take this urinalysis. So So we finished the zone and I'm driving over to take the urinalysis. Now I'm like, all right, I can't waste no time. Take this urinalysis, go hit the gym, then go check the results. It's going to be way after the results came out at that time. Man, I'm on my way to do the urinalysis and somebody else hit me up. Like, yo, nobody want to say they got it if you was up. You know how it is? Like, don't nobody want to say they got it if you were up, and they don't know if you got it or not yet. I mean, I don't feel like that with like Damon. I'll text Damon, yo, Damon, I got it, bro. Like, you know what I mean? But like other people, so somebody hit me up and she was shout out to my sis. And she was like, yo, did you make it? Is your name on the list or whatever? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm driving. I'm doing the urinalysis right now. I'm not even really thinking about it. Like, I have so many other people thinking about it more than me. And then I was like, what, the list is out? And then she gave me a screenshot. She had made it. I'm like, man, all right, let me just go to this building when I get in here where I got to do the urinalysis, get on one of my boys' computers and just check it, right? So I get on one of the chief's computers. He let me, he go eat lunch and I go check it. And I made it. Then I do my urinalysis. My name was on the list. I do my urinalysis. I'm talking to my sellers. It came up because I started to get all these text messages. I think while I was checking it, Damon hit me. I think while I was still on the computer, me and Damon had reached out. I think it was you first who asked me a question. I forgot how that happened. But I'm like, yeah, I'm on the list. And then so we were talking, and then somebody else reached out at the same time. And then I text Angelina, I text my wife, I told her, that I had made Master Chief and she was excited and stuff like that. Then I just did the urinalysis. That was it. I had to reach out to my CO and all that stuff. So that was kind of it. It was like normal. After that though, the day kind of wasn't the same. Cause you got to pick orders, and I don't like that process at all. So I was just thinking about all of that and then where I want to go and stuff like that. So my day, as much as I wanted the day to play out like normal, it just wasn't, because you just found out all this news and stuff.
So in that moment when you found out, you were by yourself, right?
Yeah. I was in the office. Yep. I was in the office, one of my boys' office. We got a text group, and I was like, yo, should I text them? But I didn't. I wound up telling one of the other chiefs, like, yo, I made, he was like, why you don't look too happy? I was like, I made Command Master Chief. It wasn't that I look happy, and that I made Command Master Chief. He's like, oh, I was wondering, but because it's also the whole, about having to leave and stuff like that.
Yeah. It seems like you were just very oh, okay. And then just, And then just rolled out. That was it.
I was chill, and I wanted to get plug that, keep that in your memory, man, because it's a reason. It's something that I want to talk about that, the feelings behind that. But yeah, I was chill. I was super chill. I had to tell myself something later on, so I want you to kind of ask me about that later. But and then I went, like when I went to Fleet and Family, and I told, remember I'm a base senior leader. I go to Fleet and Family, and I told the ladies at Fleet and Family, and I just so happened to catch 3 of them at the same, and none of them was happy. like they was happy. I'm like, y'all not happy for me? You're leaving. And listen, like listeners, I'm not even lying. Like one of them was like, no. Then she looked, and she was like, yes, I'm happy for you. Like, but they was like, you gotta leave. Because they so used to SELs coming for a year and just leaving. You know what I mean? So it was kind of bittersweet for them. And plus, I used to be there. You know, I was at my command, I'm stationed at, I was there before. So like the civilians, I know them. Like it's like real genuine like love. Like some of them I like really got love for. So, and they got love for me and my family. So it's different, you know?
Yeah. So like, have y'all like always wanted to be a CMC, or is that something that just kind of was like a natural progression?
I think for me, it was a natural progression for me. Even though I saw some of my mentors go that route. So when I was a chief and I seen one of my good friends, Jay Montanero, I seen one of the guys you work with, Jeremy Hartley. I saw those guys pick up as command CN chief. So then I started being intrigued by it a little bit more. So, and then after a while though, you kind of start getting senior and senior. Then you be like, man, I can, at first as a chief, CN chief, I was like, I don't know if I could do that. I was really on the edge of knowing, man, can I even do that job? And I'm looking at them do it. And then as time get by, more experience, and then you start getting put in different roles where you leading a lot of people already. And then it just started happening like that. Man, I could do this. You know what I mean? I could do this job. And a lot of times that's how it happens in the Navy too, man. Experience gets you more confidence. You know what I mean? You start going through things, make you more confident. More feedback get you more confident. So all this stuff that happens in the Navy, man, start getting you more confident. And you start thinking, you know what, man, I really can do this. Now, in between all that stuff, it's a whole lot of other stuff that's going on, especially like I put in for command CN chief, right? And then get picked up. So it's some more stuff behind all that too. But that's gonna be another question though.
Yeah, I got some questions on that. We'll go ahead to demo.
Yeah. I think it's like Damon said, I think it's just natural progression. Like, so me and Damon was on the same ship like 5 years ago or something, right? And I don't think I ever mentioned being a command master chief at all on that ship. Like just trying to work and do the most I can or whatever like that. And I had to tell myself that too recently, like, damn, it was just 5 years ago. I didn't know. Man, I don't even know if I knew I was going to be a senior chief 5 years ago. I was worried about getting my EAL qualification or something like that, right? In order to stand out as a chief on the ship that I was on. But I want to, so when I was stationed at Naval District Washington, I want to give a shout out to Andy Hotchgraver. He was my RegCom CMC, which I was stationed at RegCom, so he was my CMC at the time. I want to give a shout out to Ryan out Pax River, and I want to give a shout out to Billy Smith. And they all served a different kind of thing. Andy, he's the guy that, and it's funny because Andy he kind of been like how my grandma Cindy was for me before she passed, like just always around for like a moment. You know what I'm saying? So Andy was my CMC when I ran a season. And I remember, man, when I first got there, the job I had, I don't think that it was a big enough job for like him to really know coming in who I was. So because I was alcohol and drug control officer. It's a pretty simple job. So I remember like him like, oh man, we're gonna move you to TPU. We gonna do. And I'm like, oh man, these people try to just move me all over the place, right? But I'm running a season, and then Andy like one of them dudes that he like a dude, you know what I mean? Like, but I remember when it's final night, and he come up to me, man. He's like, hey man, like you did a pretty good job, you know. Like, man, thank. And I ain't never really heard him. He do a great job at CMC, and you know. So and he was like, you ever like, what's up? Like what are you going to do next? You know, are you going to go EMCM? Are you going to go CMC? And again, we'll get into it later, but you know, I was like, man, he had sparked it for me. I never really even looked at CMC as something for like engineers, like EMs. I thought it'd be 3MC. I thought that was the fate for an electrician. And he was like, yeah, man, put in. He transferred, right? So he transferred. Between him transferring and his relief showing up, it was Ryan from Pax River came through. He did CMC over there, and he helped out as I was standing in for CMC. He was standing in for CMC as well. Like he was really standing in for CMC, and I was kind of like the paperweight. Like I was doing the command job, and he was doing the region job. Like let me kind of say it like that. So he came over but he like if Andy gave me the gas, Ryan like sparked it. You know, Ryan kind of sparked it, and he helped me. Like he carried me through a lot of it. And then Billy Smith came, who just recently retired. He was Andy's relief, and Billy kind of just sealed the deal as far as supporting me. He wrote the eval in a way that really highlighted like the CMC work that I was doing at the time. So I think it was them three at that command that made me realize it. Like it would have just been like something, in my opinion, that was untapped. You know what I'm saying, Tish? Like like I'm that person though who like I put an officer package in and never did it again. I'm just that person that just won't open the door. Like it's just who I am. Like who I've been. Like, all right, yeah, I won't do that. Like I just won't do that. You know, I'm just I'm gonna just be an EMCM. You know, so but it was them that was like, no, man, you could go the extra step, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah. And so, Damon, a year ago, you were like looking at retirement, like you were ready to roll out and chug deuces. And now here you are, you have made Master Chief, then made Command Master Chief. So what was your mind frame? What was your thoughts back then on, you know, when you were thinking about retire or you were preparing for retirement? Because did you actually put in for retirement?
I did. I actually had the paperwork. I was done. Approval, April of 2024. I was done.
So why do you feel like you were done back then? And then what? I know you picked up Master Chief, and that's what kind of changed it. But looking back at it, what are your thoughts now? What were your thoughts then, and what are your thoughts now?
Well, my thoughts then and now are the same. Like, and I tell people this all the time, is like keeping the door open though, right? Opportunities can come in all different types of shapes and forms, right? And that's what I did. I set it up. I put my PRD and EAOS, all that stuff the same. So I still had myself eligible though, right? For Master Chief. So I set it up like that because I knew it was an opportunity, it's a possibility that I could still make Master Chief. So I set it up like that. It wasn't the fact that I'm like done with the Navy. I'm done. It was never like that. It was the fact that I had got to a certain point. If I don't make this, that means I got to go back to sea. And my whole standpoint was I didn't want to go back to sea at 26 years and still be a CN Chief. That was that was me. That's what I was thinking about the whole time, right? So that's kind of how I set that up like that. But the whole highlight of the whole thing is don't shut the door on yourself. Like, you know, if you plan on getting out and you doing something else, you go do that. But I never shut the door on opportunities.
I love that because, you know, I shut the door.
20 years.
I was like, the door is closed. So this is a ChatGPT question, by the way. What was like, I'll say a question from the audience. That's ChatGPT. What were like some of the challenges that you faced, you know, with getting here and becoming a CMC? I would say, I guess, either personally, professionally, what was like one of the biggest things that was just like, dang, like it, or did it? I feel like Damon was just like, it just happened.
Yeah. I think it's like, I think you get the imposter syndrome stuff, especially for me. Yeah. I'm about to hit 18 years. I ain't hit my 18-year mark yet. You know what I mean? So with that and like doing a podcast, like I'm telling you, like I work, and Damon been around for it, but I don't think I've come up for air. You know what I mean? Just in the last, like between even that, now when you add the podcast and having a baby and just working from the work we were doing on the ship. So the work we were doing on the ship before the podcast started having a baby, I don't think I came up for air yet to kind of see where I don't know where I am. You know what I mean? Like, and that's how I act. I don't act like I know, people like, yo, you humble, you this, that. I don't know where the fuck I'm at. You know what I mean? I never stop to be like, oh shit, I'm here. So like when I'm talking to like, I run into like I'm just me, and I don't know how to explain that, right? But so just not really knowing and understanding what the hell is going on, like that. I'm like, so it was like, damn, I'm about to be, because when I became a command senior chief, I remember I used to hit Damon up like, yo, some of these things I don't know how to do. Like I never did. Like some of the things that got to do with like career stuff, like career counseling, my Navy assignments and that type of stuff. Like I'm like, I never did none of that. I just was an electrician. You know what I mean? So for me, that was the hardest part, is getting over myself. And I guess I get into my little thing that I was talking about earlier, was that I just, when you get to this point, when you become a command senior chief, in my opinion, for me, it's very close to inevitable that I was going to make command master chief, right? So when I made it, that's why I was so cool and calm, because it was very close to inevitable. To me, it wasn't as much of a celebratory moment as I would have. And again, this is past tense because I reframed my way of thinking. But it was like, okay, yeah, this was going to happen. Yeah, it's my terminal pay grade and all of that stuff. I might have made Master Chief as an EM a year ago. You know what I mean? So that's just the way that my brain was working. What I had to go do, Tish and Damon, was I had to go tell myself, like, bro, remember that E1? And that's why earlier I kind of pinned a tail on that. I didn't know that I would be a command master chief 5 years ago. I didn't know that that was the path for me as an EM. I thought it was 3MC, 3MCM and retire. So I had to go back to that E1 dude that looked at this shit like it was impossible. You know what I mean? Like impossible. Like, man, that's going to take a long time. Can't do it. I never saw EMs do. I never saw like a CMC that used to be an EM. It was always like aviation rates and stuff. So then, and when I started to think like that, I grew to appreciate it a whole lot more. You know what I'm saying? So I think I was my biggest, pretty much me and my perspective was my biggest hurdle. Because even now you get here, you're a CMC. I'm a 17-year CMC, and I'm saying 17 because it feels good to say it. I hit 18 in like 6 days, right? I'll be an 18-year CMC, and it's 30-some year now, Fleet Force, Master Chief. So it's like, even when you've arrived, like now you in a room full of a bunch of big dogs still, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just me trying to get over myself. That's all.
And so you're already a cell now. And so you have witnessed like the difference, or because I feel like the triad, it comes with a lot of like politics, the extra stuff. It's like not only are you like a sailor, but now you have to do this whole politicking thing. And how do you think that it's going to be even more now as a CMC versus a cell?
I don't operate like that, so I don't even know what that means. Like I said, man, I haven't come up for air. I'm telling you, Tish, like I don't even know. So for me, I don't even have an XO. We don't have an XO. We got like a civilian, like the equal to XO is a DCO. But I don't operate. I feel like this is how I feel, Tish. I build genuine relationships with my people, right? Like individually. I build genuine relationships with my sailors individually. So I feel like if I'm somewhere in front of a group of people, or like they know, like I think they could discern, like, oh, he in front of a group of people. Like, and I know if I get with CMC, like in the office or something like that, he gonna give me the real. But I'm not about to compromise. I'm not about to get in front of the group of people and compromise anything that I would do on a one-on-one. That's just not how I operate. Am I answering your question?
Yeah. So Damon, what do you feel like is going to be like your philosophy as a CMC?
Ooh, man, I even thought about that. My philosophy on anything is it's gonna have something to do with loving to come to work, loving to do your job. You got to like it to be good at it, And I don't know like where I'm gonna go with it, how I'm gonna word that. But it's one thing that I always say, and I've said multiple times on the podcast before, is and it's hard to fake something that you don't you like or don't like. You know what I mean? It's hard to like keep faking it. You can only fake it for so long, right? You gotta like doing it. Getting up in the morning to go do something every day. You gotta like it. And if you don't, because I'm trying to word this right, because we are messing with people's lives. That's chiefs and senior chiefs and master chiefs. We are dealing with sailors' lives. So if we're not putting out all into every day, we're doing them a disjustice. That's that word. I don't know if I said it right, Dumbo, this time, but
you said it. It's my word, but you said it. It's your word, right?
It's my word. It's my word.
Justice is David's word, y'all.
That's my word.
That's his word, y'all.
So I remember Dumbo giving me crap about that before. That's why I said that.
Somebody didn't like that. I did that too on YouTube. They was like mad. They was like mad.
Like, let them have it. Let them have it.
So yeah. But yeah, we got to put that effort in every day, right? So, and we got to like doing it, and then we got to like being around sailors. We got to love our jobs. So that's kind of what my philosophy going to be. Like, we'll come to work every day, and we want to love it, we want to like it, and we want to put our best foot forward, and put that energy out to the crew. Because guess what? They got to come in and perform. We can't do our job if they're not doing their job, right? So we got to give that energy, that good attitude, that motivation, whatever you want to call it. We got to bring that every day, so they want to come to work and do a great job. And that start with planning, and start with preparation, and start with all that stuff that we do, because look, man, I had this talk. I want to bring this up. I had this talk with some sailors at the E5 level one day, and they was getting upset about, staying around all day, and then all of a sudden you get a new job, and then it goes to 15 and 1600 or whatever. And I asked them, well, what is your plan for the day? You the works in a suit. What is your plan for the day? Right? They don't have a plan for the day, right? They come in to work sometimes, 2 minutes before it's time to stand at quarters. So what do you have already planned for your sailors, your E4s and below? What do you have planned for them right now? Nothing. Because you just got here, right? So I told them, either the day before you have a plan, or you come in early and have a plan. But to have your sailors, because now you got quarters, right? Now you getting down there, you got cleaning stations. Now it's freaking 0900 and you got nothing planned for them. So that goes back to me saying we got to prepare, we got to like it, we got to want it, because what we do in the preparation phase is going to help sailors through the day, through the week, through the month, through the quarter. So yeah.
Stay there though, real quick. Sorry, Tish. That plan for the day shit, man. Yo, Damon, I think me and you probably had this conversation before, but I know I've had this conversation with many a junior seller. As a E1, I was a grown-ass man. I was a kid, of course, a young person, but I got my own plan, And it's for the young sellers out there, right? For some reason, I don't say sellers, right? Sailors or whatever. But this for the young sellers out there, like you should have your own plan. Don't have your day at the will of somebody else. And it's coming from me, my own opinion. Like you get your work list from your works in a soup. You get the 13-week report on Monday. You get your work list from your works in a soup. Write down your plan for the day. Write your shit down. Go knock it out. I used to try to limit myself from being in a shop or at the will of another man. Like I put out a million times that I don't like listening to people, right? So I used to try to limit that. Like I got my plan, it's done. Boom. Have your plan. And like you said, as you climb up the ranks now, it goes from your plan to the plan for your division to the plan for your department to whatever. But have a fucking plan. Thanks, Damon. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. Because I know a lot of times, senior leadership will go up and be like, what you working on? You better have something that you're working on. You about to get something.
Yeah, like have a plan.
have something that you're working on, but like have it meaningful. But yeah, like be working on something. So it's so funny and surreal that we're like talking about this, because like the fact that y'all made it together at the same damn time, you know what I'm saying? And y'all been, how long have y'all been knowing each other?
Since 20...
Probably 14 and 15?
17.
17. Yeah, 17.
2017.
Yeah, end of 17.
2017, y'all met, started doing the pod together, and have grown together so much. family wise, y'all seen each other's kids, be born or, grow up and get out, join the Navy. What does it mean for you two to make it at the same time together?
Oh, man.
Well,
go there.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Don't cry.
I like as far as like on a personal level, all of that stuff. I think it's cool, right? And I'll refrain from talk about that. Like I let if Damon got that for the podcast though, which is what I want to talk about. Is I just think it like in some ways validate some aspects of this podcast and like the intentions that we always had. Like we both now something I could talk about. We ain't never talked about it before. Me and Damon was the number one EP at the same time too. Like as chiefs or whatever. He was the number one EP senior chief. I was the number one EP chief. So we've always like and Damon existed before me, right? He was doing his thing. He was on a ship. I got to the ship after him. I kind of looked at Damon as somebody that I could cling on and like just kind of grab a hold because he was already moving, and then I move with him. You know what I mean? Like a train that's already moved. You just grab that motherfucker,
right?
And you just keep going. Because another thing Damon had was entry into being solidified, like as a leader on a ship before me. So like you got to get that, So the rest of my mentors that was there, shout out to Angelo Cobb. The rest of them that were there, and there's more. And as we go through the episode, I'm gonna name more of y'all. But they were like far and beyond. Like they was like about to retire, and so all I'm doing is getting game from them where I could grab Damon and get some action. Shout out to Dirk too. So that's what I would do. Right. Because if I felt like I couldn't say nothing yet because I'm this brand new chief, then I got Damon, and I kind of put the bug in Damon there, and he was like-minded. So that happened. So as time progressed, we was fucking like really killing. Like he was the president of Chiefs Mess. I was the vice president of Chiefs Mess. Like I was like wherever Damon was. And then at some point, Damon got hurt a little bit. So I had to fill in as the president of the Chiefs Mess. And that's why it was a no-brainer to like do this podcast with him too, because again, it's a credibility thing, right? So that added like, just so I'm latching on to Damon because that kind of brings some credibility even to me, right? Just to be honest and humble. So just to see that, I don't think like us making it at the same time, again, like I said, at this level, it's different. Like, I don't think like just on the personal side, it means as much as it does solidification for like the work that we put in, and like some of the shit we might be saying, our conversations we having on this podcast might be important to hear. Like even the people we talking to people that might be giving you the blueprint. You know what I mean? And so that's more what I think. I'm gonna shut up.
Yeah. First off, I agree 100% with Dummo. And everything he just said, but I think for me it's the growth, right? Between like me and Dummo. When Dummo came to the ship, I was already moving, but at the same time, when Dummo got there, it's one of those things where he asked me something. I mean, man, I don't want to let Dummo down. You know what I mean? Like because he had fire. You know what I mean? Dummo had that where he was bringing that fire. And me, I'm always a, motivated guy. So now I'm taking the stuff that Dummo says. First off, smart dude. Everybody already know Dummo smart. So when Dummo says something, I'm like, oh shit, I ain't even think of it like that. I'm thinking about it in Damon mode. Like Damon mode is like motivate, do this, let's go. Then Dummo hit me with this crazy thinking. Like, oh shit, I ain't think about it like that. So it kind of worked for me too. Like Dummo said it worked for him. It worked for me also. Right. And like Dummo said, man, just the growth though. And we had different ways of getting to this position though. Right. Dummo, the way Dummo did it and the way I did is totally different.
Right.
But at the same time, like-minded people love having conversations, love talking to sailors. If you want to give anything that me and Dummo got the most in common, that's it. In my feeling, I think that was it. When we talking to junior sailors about anything. Right. I think that's what we love doing, talking to junior people. And I love it because they have a whole different idea, a whole different mindset, and then the growth, and then what it was doing for me, it was making me adapt the thing. Me and Dumbo is younger than me, so when Dumbo says things, it was making me adapt the way I used to do things. Like, shit, I should start doing it like this. I mean, I should start thinking, about more things a little bit differently, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the growth, and that's where I think making it together was a big deal, because we of course, we know each other, but at the same time, man, we want everybody to be great too. We want everybody to win. You know what I mean? And you don't find that all the time into people. You know what I mean? When you talking with them, like I think we both want people to succeed, and we want them to win every time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, before you go, I got two things. So one of the first things is that, cause I got another answer to your question, but one of the first things is that, so since David was already kind of like planted on the ship and like solidified, but by nature, he was the person that the sellers went to it, like they talked to, me coming brand new on the ship. It's like, yeah, it's his new chief. He seemed kind of cool and talk to him, but it's still building. I used to get mad at the sellers though. I used to, how come, I used to get mad if I couldn't advocate for a seller, just that competitive about caring about sell. I can't lie, I can't front. Sellers, the only chiefs in the mess that care is, and then me, I'm brand new. I'm like a month, 2 months in, only chiefs in the mess that care is Damon and such and such. I'm like, yo, hold up. What and again, it wasn't a credibility thing. It was more of a being seen thing. Like, yo, hold on, I'm putting in this amount of effort. Boom, boom, boom. So that's that. So I thought that was funny as David was talking, because I remember it's been a couple times, it's like, damn, chief, like, why do you want, like, cuz, but I care about y'all motherfuckers. That's what
right.
Don't just say Damon. Like,
right? Like, I care too.
But the other thing I want to say too about both of us making it at the same time, and I don't know if you had it in your question bank or not, I honestly think for a listener, like a dedicated PTSF listener that came here on the One About Trunk Space, and even not, because I don't want to alienate like some of our newer people or people that came after that. But going back to Trunk Space, I was a chief, and Damon was a senior chief, and we were this wasn't even in the conversation. Like, I don't think we were talking about InServe, like how stressful that shit was, right? But if I was a listener now, and I kind of latched on to the same way I was talking about Damon with the train, right? And I kind of latched onto this podcast like a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, or when we started, and it's like, damn, this motherfucker made senior chief. Damn, this motherfucker made master chief. Damn, this dude became an SEL. Damn, they both became senior. Like, I would feel more like it's a win for me. Damn, like this podcast that I decided to listen to with these two dudes that I think, before you came, of course, with these two dudes that I think are like keeping it real or whatever. And then they add Tish keeping it real too. And they still active duty. And hey, they're still achieving things in the Navy that are considered as achievements. And I've been listening to them for the last 4 fucking years. I would feel amazing as a listener.
Yeah.
Like, I would feel like I kind of made it a litof bit too. What I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah. And going back to what y'all talked about, kind of like the iron sharpens iron type of mentality. That rings very true for y'all. And that's like kind of like a secret sauce that I've always kind of taught my sailors. Like, find someone who's like-minded, who has, not necessarily the exact same goals, but who's going in the same direction, who's positive, who's trying to get in there and do something, who's hungry, who wants to help people, has a good heart. Latch on, y'all lock in with each other. You can do so much more together than you can apart, because it's like y'all dominated together. You know what I'm saying? And y'all were individually, everything that y'all were individually, but when y'all locked in and came together, it was like, it's unstoppable, both in the workspace and on the pod. You know what I'm saying? And so I've always tried to teach sailors to just find somebody, and I have that same type of testimony. Shout out to Jeff Newell. He's an officer now, but we met in Japan, and we were both very like-minded people, wanted to help people. We locked in, and it was just like, he was number one, I was number two, you know. And it wasn't just about, you know, us going in and trying to do for ourselves, but we were trying to like elevate all the first class. We were really acting like we weren't in competition with these people when it came to eval time, because we wanted everybody to eat, and we were taking care of our junior sailors. And that alone, like, I think that, and I think before that, I wasn't real, like, I was still trying to like find that was my first time in the fleet. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. As a LN, we don't really be in the fleet like that. So that was my first time in the fleet. So I was like trying to figure out my way. He was reservist, or what is it? FTS. He was FTS. And so we're both trying to like find our way, but we knew that the opportunity that we had of being in the fleet was few and far in between. So we were just like, with this opportunity, with these few years that we got, like, we got to make this shit count. Yeah. And we definitely did. And I made chief, I would say, primarily from that duty station. So definitely, to our listeners, find somebody who's like-minded. Lock in, do the Damon and Damo.
Yeah, well, you know, a couple of things, right, to touch on that is you got to be deliberate about it, right? Like, be deliberate about it. Like, even if I noticed, like, for me in my life, when I had a gym partner, I was way more fit. You know, I worked out more. I was more fit, stuff like that. When I had a running mate, like in the Navy, I was killing. I was crushing, right? Because I think the biggest thing is about it is the accountability piece. Like, somebody to make you hold you, not even somebody to hold you accountable, but somebody to make you hold yourself accountable, right? Now, the difference between that part, right, is like from like E1 through first class to chief and beyond, because I strongly think if you're a chief, you should be looking at a senior chief, right? And I wouldn't call that senior chief your running mate, because they not. That senior chief is in their own kind of category and wavelength and stuff like that. But you need a senior chief, kind of latch on and just soak as much game up as you can and follow through with that person. That person might not considerably be your like mentor, but that's the person that you bounce your ideas off. That's the person that you get your thoughts from. That's like somebody that you latch on to a little bit more than what a mentor would be. Because my mentor is a little different. You know what I mean? Like, they people that like I thank when I make it. Like, I thank my mentors when I make it. What Damon would be is somebody that I'm a drink with. For making it. Let's take a shot together, dog. Like I did, like your bro, like yo, like your big bro or your bro or something like that. It's a little different. But definitely you gotta find, like, for the Chiefs and the Chiefs, you gotta find one of them. Find somebody that like you could latch on to and grow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and just to add a little bit to that is though that, and it's okay though. That's what we don't understand sometimes, man. It's okay to go find that person. You know what I mean? And like people, like, it's okay to be, like I always say, it's okay to be great. You know what I mean? We get in our peers and we see people like, oh man, they see him. He trying to do this. He trying to do that. No, it's okay. You know what I mean? It's okay to try to be the best you can be at your job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's okay. Like, and that's the thing as a leader that I try to say all the time too, is like, hey, if you worried about what people saying about you, you're going to lose some of them opportunities that you can get, right? Because you worried about what this person going to say. I say, oh, get your qualifications. You looking around the room like what your peers doing. No, man. Don't worry about it. Go get your qualifications. Get your stuff done. Get it knocked out.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. So being a chief, people come to you for answers, right? That's what we were taught in season. You know, you put on a uniform and people gonna run to you and ask you for question or ask you for answers, and they expect you to give them an answer. And it's so funny because, you know, like I said, they hone that, like they hammer that in our heads during season. The day that I got pinned, I was like taking my my stuff, like my uniform and all that stuff after the pinning, and taking it to the car. This sailor sees me Don't even know who this sailor. I was just walking on base. Sailor sees me, eyes buck up, bright. She shot over and ran to me. She was like looking for something. But when it was like the fact that she saw me, eyes wide open, like I know she got the answer because of the uniform that she got on. Ran to me and asked me the question. Luckily, I was like, oh shit. Luckily, I knew the answer. So I was like, I'm about to fail day 1, day 0. But luckily, I knew the answer or whatever. But that just, solidified like, damn, like people are really coming to me for answers just based on uniform.
Yeah.
And now you guys are CMCs. So you not only have junior sailors that's going to be coming to you, you have chiefs that are going to be coming to you. Like your whole mess is going to come to you, for answers, for guidance, and for instruction. Like, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Also COs, officers. There's so many more people now that's going to come to you for answers. How do you feel about that?
For me, hey, I'm going to be honest with you, Tish. For me, I relish in that shit. I love it. I love people to come to me. And it ain't because I'm trying to be cocky, because I love that about my job. I love trying to find the answers. I love trying to figure it out. I love all of that. And I always wanted to be the guy.
That
you know
dude.
what I mean? I want to be that dude. I always wanted to be there. I can get up here and say a whole lot of this and a whole lot of that, but I always wanted to be the person that somebody comes to and wanted to talk to and wanted to be there. Like Dumbo said earlier, people come to me, oh, we're going to go talk to Damon. Like, I wanted to be that guy too. Sometimes I go out and find them. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? I always I wanted to be that person, man. I just wish, to be honest with you, if wishing anything, I wish I had my voice early in my career. You know what I mean? I wish I had this voice and the talk more than I do now, which is another advice thing that I give to myself, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But but for the CMC and people coming to me, I'm really, really, that's one of the things that excite me. That's one of the things that I'm really, really looking forward to doing. And I'm hoping that I can, with all the mentors and friends and family and everybody else, I'm hoping I can do a great job at it, because I know a lot of people I can call if I can't.
That part.
Yeah. And just to hang off of what Damon just said, you got that. So it ain't really no reason to be scared, right? That's my kind of take on it. Is there's no reason to be afraid of it, because you always got somebody. And I thought about that too when I became a senior enlisted leader. Like, damn, people gonna come ask me questions that I just might not, but outside of having like people to reach out to in ChatGPT, you straight. like you good. Like, you know what I mean?
4.0.
Yeah, you straight. Yep, I'm 4.0 too. I pay for that shit.
Me too.
But
it's real.
Yeah, like it's somebody told me. It might have been Toby. I think it might have been Toby Ruiz. Somebody told me that if you don't know the answer, it's okay. It's okay to not know the answer. Go and get it. Come back with it. Yeah. But it's better to say, give me a second. Let me look that up. I don't have it on the top of my head. Give me a second. Let me go find out what that answer is and get back to you. Then try to shit out an answer. Right?
Yeah.
And I've been at SEL for about a year now, and I've been in a couple scenarios where I was tempted to shit an answer out. Or even if I do shit something out, right? Because sometimes it just feel better to like to just pop it out. Like, but even if I do that, it's like, hey, sir, because you definitely don't want to do that to your captain. Hey, sir, let me go follow up. I think it's this, but let me go follow up before we do anything. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna tell you. Then I even come back. It wasn't that I was off, or yes, sir, it definitely was. What I said it was. So you don't have to have, because the advantage to this is that the person that's asking you the question, they don't know the fucking answer either. So they can't judge you for not knowing it. Give me a second. Let me go get the answer and come back.
Yeah.
So, that's my take on it.
So now with all the pressure, you talked about everybody coming to you and everything. How do you balance, the CMC role, which is bigger than your roles now, how do you balance that with your personal life, or just trying to like get all of your stuff done professionally? Because it's gonna be Damo, you could probably speak on this a little bit, being SEL, the shift of it. But how do you see yourself being able to balance everything of, the administrative burden that you're going to have now, the family thing, you trying to be everything for everybody?
One of my tactics is to have people in place to do. So one of my things is like, as far as the work. So my work is to take care of my sellers, right? And as I was telling my sellers, I'm like, yo, I could be the most subject matter expert person that you know. I could be the hardest worker that you know. If I don't take care of you, you're gonna say I'm trash. Like that's what I'm getting judged on at my job. Like the whole command claimant thing. Like ain't no command claimant gonna say, hey, senior chief, smart as hell. I know he was a good electrician. Like it's gonna be like, yo, he took care. Well, master chief, I know he was a good electrician. No, it's gonna be like, yo, he took care of me, right? So this my approach and perspective to work. Have as many people in place to do their fucking job. Because I don't think as a command master chief, I don't know how much I've been like in my job now. Like I can't sit here and say my admin burden was super like stacked up. Like it's not. It's only stacked up if you want it to be, right? Yeah. You have people in place to do their job. You got chiefs. You got if you go to a ship, you got your admin, whole khaki group of admin that should be doing the khaki group of admin's job, right? You got your career counselor. You got like at my command, I don't have all that right now. I got a couple chiefs and stuff like that. So it's a lot of things that I haven't experienced like at the level of like a CMC on a ship. However, the one thing that I came in with is I'm not doing nobody else's work.
Yeah.
I'm not doing nobody's job. I don't think that, like, I think if you go in with that, and for me, it's not a negative thing. And people that work with me, they know it now. Like they get it now. Like, you're empowered. You could do your work. I'm not double checked. I'm a verify shit, but I'm not micromanaging your work or nothing like that. Do your work. If I got to do your work, it's a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I honestly, Cheech, I don't know the burden, and maybe I need to go to a destroyer to really see what the admin burden is, but I don't know it yet. So I can't even speak to it, but I'm ready for it. But I can't I can't see no CMC, admin CMC. I don't think that's the job. I don't think the job is admin, yo. I think it's people. I think it's a people job, Somebody tell me otherwise.
Yeah.
What you got, David, on that?
That's 100%. I don't see it like none of that either, though. Not the admin, not the balancing, because the balancing thing is I've been balancing. You know what I mean? My whole Navy career, I've been balancing work life / freaking with the family and all that stuff. So I'm already used to this. That's the good thing about when you make CMC or command senior chief or whatever. You ain't just came in the Navy yesterday and got this job. You've been doing it for a long time. So you kind of used to what we got going on already. So I think you got to do is just switch like your mindset up a little bit from a rated, like me personally, from a rated master chief, because I'm thinking about damage control a little bit more. Right. But now I'll be thinking about everybody a little bit more. You know what I mean? So that's all. I don't feel like it's going to be a big, huge change when it comes to that for me.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And then with everything you do, play off your strengths. like play off your strengths, man. Like me, I'm a visionary, right? I got ideas. I think of shit. You know what I mean? I'm a visionary, and then I'm a creative. That's who I am as a person. And that's what I've been wherever I went in my whole career. So no matter what you want to do, officer, CMC, whatever you want to do, just play off your strengths.
Yeah.
Then you just maybe think about, you just led me into my next question. You are dropping your rate now from your title. How does that feel? And anything you want to say to the rate? Anything you want to say on your farewell tour?
Hey, I'm gonna tell you right now, man. I love being a damage control.
You really do.
Hey, look. When Damo say you play off your strengths, man. damage control is one of my strengths, right? Because, and one of the biggest reasons, because it's in a thing where you have to motivate somebody. Nobody wants to do your job. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to firefight. No one wants to do flooding, because that's my job on a ship, but I have to train them, right? So I have to have this certain energy to me because I'm getting somebody else to do it for me, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I love damage control. I love motivation. Like, as me as a person, I love motivation, energy, all that stuff. And then damage control, it just ties in together, right? It's a strength, right? But it's a progression thing when it comes to me being and going CMC. And actually, you know, I was talking to a damage control master before that went CMC. Really what it's doing is moving out the way for other people.
Yeah.
Right? You can only have a certain number of DC Master Chiefs in the Navy. And once they get that number, everybody else is kind of like in a waiting pattern, right? Waiting on somebody either retire or go CMC. So to me, I feel like I'm just getting out the way, you know what I mean, for somebody else to pick up DC Master Chief. But either way, I was okay. I feel like the CMC route for me is a couple of things. One is, the biggest for me is I'm doing something different, right? And I'm touching different sailors, and I'm in the room with people who are making decisions that I want to be involved with. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how I look at it. But again, I love damage control, and I'm most definitely going to miss it. And even if I see it, I don't know if I can keep my hands out of it, but we'll see.
I was about to ask that. You gotta stay out of the shop. CMC down here again.
He's running DSET.
Let me show you how to do that.
I'm sure if that happened, it'd be a DC, either C chief or master chief that tells me, "Hey, go sit down somewhere, man."
I was over here where I work at looking for a breaker, man. And one of the civilians, they don't know I used to be an electrician. They thinking they got it, man. So I know the feeling too.
Yeah, man.
So where are you guys going next? Do you know yet?
I know. I'm going to the VFA 113, the Stingers.
That's you like the name.
Yeah, man. Hey, that's already motivated me right there, man. Tell you, man. So yeah, that's where I'm going. I don't know the exact time and date yet. It's gonna be, more July, August time frame. I think somewhere up in there maybe. But man, I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm excited. I'm pumped. I'm ready to go. I already reached out to everybody I need to reach out to, already in communication. But man, I am ready to go, man. Pumped up.
How did you select your orders?
Oh, Tish, don't even. I don't know. We won't even. I don't know if we won't even go there, man. I don't even want to go there.
That's for this, man.
Yeah. But let me tell you this though. Let me tell you my one of my processes. I think that got me in trouble with my order picking though, right? So I want everybody to know this, because a lot of people are gonna come behind me and be selecting orders. But I think I talked about the squadron thing. When I talked about the squadron thing and I brought up the word like where I'm going and all that, I think that hurt me in the selection process a little bit. Right? Because once I got that, I put in for a billet at this certain location and I didn't get it. Automatically, it went to another billet in that same location.
Yeah.
I might not want to go in this thing. Right? But that's all I was getting. That's all I was getting fed after that. You know what I mean? Because of that location, that's all I was getting fed. So other than that, man, the process, man, I don't even want to get into the process, man.
You have the most problems.
I do not want to get into the process, because it ain't just me. This process is not just me. I just think the process could be better. Right?
On every side, I'm sure it sucks too. Not just for the people picking orders. I'm sure the other side of it too, the detailing too. Shout out to Amanda up there that's doing amazing work up there, detailing people, and the team up there, all of them, Bill, all of them up there that's doing amazing work. It's kind of like an archaic thing. I think it's a way you can improve it. But again, like electronically, right? Like if I was to buy a pair of Yeezys back in the day, and the Yeezys were sold out, they wasn't available no more. Like I just couldn't choose them. Like so if two people bought Yeezys at the same time, like, but it's archaic. I can't get too deep into it. The CMCs and stuff, no. And I think you only deal with it when you get selected, right? Like, so when you get selected to command senior chief and when you get selected to command master chief, that's the only time you deal with this process. It's really just every single person that's selected calling one detailer. And it's like, hey, at 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock central, the phone line's open. So like I called, like personally, like me, I called like 100 times, like to get through. You know, so then when you finally get through, you kind of like out of breath, a little nervous. You feel like you gotta hurry up and talk. Like, but and then I think and again, I could be speaking out of ignorance, but I was looking at a picture on Facebook. I think she got like stickies on a wall. Like they got like stickies on a wall, like literally pulling off. And I get why you can't use two people because it'd be confusion there. I get a lot of reasons why certain things you can and can't do. But that process is crazy. And then it's like, for me, I'm never like set on one thing, right? So soon as you make it, you start to get the people calling you like, yo, where you going? What's up? Where you going? What you doing? And I'm just not the kind of person that just be like, hey, this one thing, especially with the way that shit goes, because you might not get that one thing that you would settle on, just like Damon just said, right?
Right.
So I always like thinking about options, and then like my wife and the baby and stuff like that. So the selection thing is, for me, it's a little overwhelming, right? Just the selection part. Like, no one got nothing to do with the job. I was overwhelmed last year and I was overwhelmed this year. For me, I didn't even pick a job. But it's for a reason that I can't really talk. It's a job I'm going for. It's a job I'm trying to get. I got an interview for it and stuff like that. But so I didn't pick a job on the day that we were supposed to pick for those reasons. So that means I'm gonna be where I'm at until I interview and see what happens, and I kind of get the orders for the job that I want. And then if I don't get the job I want, then it's going for another job. You know,
and every leftovers.
For me, right? And this ain't just to be PC, but like like the job I'm gonna do is the job I'm gonna do no matter where I go, right? So every job is, for me, it's a job that like I'm willing to do and want to do. The only like fight against the job that I would go to is the family. You know, that's the only other opposing vote for me. Like I could go to Djibouti. You know, it's actually like available. I don't even know if I want to say that because like this is a Djibouti job. It's a Djibouti job on the joint. But like, it'd be the family. I got a brand new baby, stuff like that. But so I don't have a job yet. So the job I have is the job I have right now.
Got it. Would you have to move
for the job that I'm
for the one that you want?
No.
Okay.
Honestly, it's closer to my house than the job I got right now.
Okay, cool. So I'm sure Angeline is like, all right, cool.
Yeah. And that's the thing. So when I made it, shout out to Bill Houlihan. I had a short conversation with Bill, and he gave me some advice too, man. And a lot of what he was saying was just like family. Thinking about that. Like if you have an opportunity, and I'm sure he won't be upset with me saying. He said, if you have an opportunity at putting your family first, take that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? And I heard Fleet Kemp say something the other day, right? And it was heartbreaking. And he said something like, in his retirement, his main goal was to spend time with his grandchildren to make up for the time he couldn't spend with his kids. That shit hit me so hard. Hey, for the listeners, we got him coming on soon too. I don't know if that's an announcement, but I'm gonna ask him that question. Like I got that in the chamber ready to ask him, like, cause that shit, So I got to think about that too. But also I want to think about putting myself in the best position to, like Damon said, never kind of counting myself out. So I can't pick no like I'm young in the game. I can't pick like no chump orders. You know what I mean? Like I still want to be able to put myself in the best position to win. And I got a long-term, if I stay in the Navy, CMC goal. I got a fleet goal. It's a job I want. It's a fleet job. It's a fleet job. Somebody lit a fire. Honestly, it's a conversation I had with Bill. Honestly, it lit a fire up under me. It's a fleet job that I want, yo. I ain't gonna say what it is right now. But it's what I want. It should be pretty easy to know what it is for a listener.
So you just talked about family and picking orders. have you ever had to like take one for the team and pick orders that you really didn't want, but you just had to do the sacrifice? This is for both of you. And how did you, take that billet that you went into it and make it your own?
I'll go, Damon, since you're thinking. The orders I got right now, I wouldn't have chose these. I want to go to a ship first. I want to, again, man, I don't want to stop to fucking breathe, yo. Like, that's just who I am. Like, I want to go to a ship first. Let's go. I'm a senior enlisted leader. Let me go to a ship with sailors. Let's go. Let's do the thing. I want to go to a DDG. That's how I wanted to start my SEL kind of trip. Let's get it. But we just had the baby. Like, we just had Amari. Angeline was like, no, I want you to be like available on shore duty through her first year, and then kind of make up. I don't know if Angeline thought I was going to make Master Chief this fast. And now we're right back at the conversation again.
Right.
We're right back here. What's up?
Yeah.
I took these orders based off of that conversation.
Yeah.
Now we up again. And I've been talking to her for like the last 5 months, like, yo, it's a chance that I can make it. We gotta have a talk. It wasn't until the results came up. Well, what's the jobs? What they got? I want to go to. I love my family. I put my family first, yo. I want to go to a DDG. I want to go to a ship. I want to be around a full chief's mess. I want sailors and all that. But how did we pivot? The command I'm at is a command that I was at before. I love this place. I love the people here. I love my sailors. I love my chiefs. And it feels like Josie, what's his name? Josie Wells, a cotton comes to heart. It feels like the dude that, you left and you came back, like hometown hero type, So if I couldn't get to a ship, this was the best place that I could go, man, just for the nostalgia and the potential of what I could do here, especially with because when you on your way somewhere, people talk to you about the place a little bit. And some of the conversation that people was talking to me about was kind of grim. Like, it wasn't desirable shit. And I think we are, and not just to my credit, but I think we are well past the undesirable kind of shit that I think people was pushing out at me. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's the same here. This is my command right now. I would have never in a million years wanted to come back to Washington State. Ain't no way. But, there was the only billet that I had to take, even though I put in for cause the only way I can go is a carrier. I had to go to sea duty. Had to be a carrier, right? So my option was already limited right there. So they had 2 carriers in San Diego that I was putting in for. And for some crazy reason, I ain't get picked up. I know why I didn't get picked up for them, because of how they was doing the screening process at the time, the scoring process. That's why I didn't get picked up for those ships, even though I was in San Diego. It got people who's coming from everywhere else getting the job, and I stay right there in California. So it was crazy to me. But coming here, man, moving the family out here, and we've been stationed out here in Washington before. And the dislike that I have, and the dislike that I'm just straight up. This weather is for the birds, man. I'm telling you. I do not like it. But I'm gonna go out here and I do my job and all that, man. But this weather gets on my nerves. But yeah, go ahead, Tish.
Oh, I was just about to say, I think that just goes to show that when you have to take sacrifices for family, like, it can still work out. A lot of people think that, oh, I have to do this. They're stuck on it. I know I've been like that before, where it's like, I have to do this. Like, is this way or no way at all? You can still, like, one of my mantras, bloom where you're planted. I forgot who gave me that line. But bloom where you're planted, no matter where you go, no matter how shitty the orders are. I think it was because I had to take some shitty orders. And I was told by a chief of some sorts, I don't remember who it was, but it stuck with me. They said, bloom where you are planted. And you don't have to sacrifice your family.
Yeah.
You don't have to not all the time, you don't have to leave your family behind. Sometimes you do, you know what I'm saying? But if you have the option to stick together, then do that, you know, and just make the best out of wherever you go. So that, because I mean, at the end of the day, your family is stronger. And if you do what you're supposed to do, you are going to be stronger, you know, as a leader, as, you know, in your rate or whatever it is, you're going to be stronger. So, you know, I just wanted to give a shout out to y'all for, you know, I'm real big on family. Yeah. I'm real huge on family. And I think one of what that, the guest that's coming on, what he said really resonates with me, because I was so looking forward to, like, even though like I wasn't really like on ships a lot, I still worked a lot because like I was just trying to, you know, be good at what I do. Mm-hmm. And so I put a lot, I used to work, it was like when I was in the fleet, I would be gone, I would come back and I'm taking college courses. I would be working late. And so I was just like, go, 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 go. You know what I'm saying? And so got on shore duty. We still busy. We in the LN community.
Yeah.
People stay in trouble. So we stay busy. And at one point, you know, when I was getting ready to retire, I was like, when I was coming into the decision, it was like, okay, I get to spend more time with my family, not being, because at one point I figured I was being a chief at work and then coming home and being a chief to my kids too. Mm-hmm. So I had to kind of change that. And so the idea of, okay, I get to be more present in their life, not just like physically, but like being more present mentally, you know what I'm saying, in my kids' life. And then I retire and they go with their dad to South Carolina. Like he wanted them to come with him. And I'm like, damn. And actually we came up, like he asked me about it prior to me retiring. So going into retirement, I was like, a big part of it was to spend more time with my kids. Now that I don't have them, should I just stay in? Like, what is retirement? Don't look the way it was like I planned it to. And so I had to like really wrap my head around the idea of being retired, this idea of what I thought retirement was going to look like and what it actually fucking looked like on the other side. Cause it's way different than what I thought it would look like.
You got some deep rooted hurt there, Tish, that we
listen.
We need to work through that shit. Like,
no, it's I'm good now, but at first, like on the other side, like I had a lot of fear going in, like what's this gonna look like? Because everything that I had planned for, you know, I had to plan. I had the plan laid out, and everything that I was planning, it seemed like it was like breaking down.
Do you feel like you left something on the table in the Navy?
I don't. Well, kind of, but not really. Like
What's
I feel like
what's the kind of?
The kind of is I still had more gas in the tank for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I still had a lot of gas in this tank. I still was passionate about what I was doing. I still love the Navy. That's why I talk about it so much. Yeah. I still like.
But you told yourself 20.
I told myself 20, and so I wanted to stick.
David, man.
Hey, Damo,
you had something to say though, right?
I did. I did. But I want back to Tish. Tish still showed up to every damn thing, so I know she had a lot of gas left. She showed up to like she was everywhere still to the last minute. But when Tish was talking earlier about family, man, so I got to give you guys a story, man, so you guys know. Hey, this is right off the press right here, guys. So you know I had to break this to young DJ, Lil Dame Malaga Jr., right? Mm-hmm. And bro, it was the worst. It was the worst, man. So I went in and I just got home because I was in Texas, you know, working on these houses I got, right? So I come home and they already know, but he don't know, like, okay, we're going to have to move again, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And it's telling you, like, the last command we was in California for like 7-8 years. So now He got to be a sophomore. Now he leaves. So he already a little upset, but he was like cool with it. So you know what? Whatever.
Yeah.
But, so he was cool with it. So now he done got here and now he's freaking, he's a junior now. And I'm talking about like everything that changed for him. Like from a sports standpoint, it changes. From even the little girls now he got running around. All this stuff is changing for him, right? And you can see him, the dude like 6 foot 6, he didn't grew. You know what I mean? He like he's a dude now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I come in and I was sitting on the couch and I turn around and say, "Hey man, this mean that we so I already know we moving." So I hit him with I'm probably moving.
Yeah.
And bro, he was in there. He was in the kitchen, physically making him food. And physically left it right there and went upstairs.
Oh,
yeah.
Damn.
Bro.
Damn.
Now, this is, me personally, I'm like, damn. You know what I mean? I knew it was going to be tough regardless. So however the situation came out, it was going to be a tough situation for him. Right?
Yeah.
But even tougher when I turn around after telling him and look at Ella. You know what I mean? Because me personally, I'm like, yeah, I know he's going to be upset, but we got to do what we got to do. You know what I mean? Ella mindset can go totally different. That's a little boy. You know what I mean? Ella conversation now can go to, well, you know what? I'm just going to stay here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how I can go because of how he reacted to it.
Yeah.
The conversation can easily go that direction.
Yeah.
So we talked about that. And then, bro, like the whole time, so he was upstairs the whole time. And then, so I said, man, I'm going to have to go up here and like talk to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then see because I didn't get a chance to even feed. You know what I mean? It was like one of those things, let me leave him alone. You know what I mean? Type deal, right? So when I go up there, man, I talked to him, bro. And he was like, yeah, I'm good. Like that. That conversation, that little interaction of me and him looking at each other's face, you know what I mean? Right at each other, like that close. Bro, almost brought me into tears. And I don't have a tear bank. You know what I mean? But it was close because how he adjusted that fast to like, yeah, I'm gonna be good. I'll be all right. You know what I mean? Type deal. Like I didn't expect that, to tell you the truth, because last time he did the same thing. You know what I mean? Even he was a sophomore, he was like, oh yeah, no big deal. He gave me that go get it mentality. You know what I mean? Don't worry about this. Let's go do this. And then this time it didn't quite go that way with his expression. So, but when I went there and talked to him, man, it was a crazy, good conversation between him. And I went back and told Ella the same thing. And the reason why I want to say this, man, is say, man, the resilience of these kids, man, these military kids is, boy, the things they go through, man. Like, and then he's coming, like I'm telling you, he's coming into himself too. Now, if he had been like in middle school still or junior school, he'll been still there to been a whole different ball game. You know what I mean? This dude is like a junior right now, man. He's still thinking about what he want to do next.
Right.
And now he got to go to another school as a senior.
Yeah. You don't think any chance that he could just like have been numb a little bit too? Like numb to like just the idea, like not really wanting to like stretch it out too long? Cause it's two sides, and it's because I'm digging now, Damon. So, it's two sides to, it's also him thinking about you too and how you feel, and Ella too, and how y'all feel. Do you think he fully came around, or do you think it's a chance that he also wanted to acquiesce to you?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I think he had to, I think it's one of those things, man, where he probably thinking that in his mind, like, if I get so mad, ain't nothing gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that's where it ends up at. And I think that's why he kind of like went the direction with the whole conversation. And even though he's not going to be disrespectful anyway, you know what I mean? He's just not going to be that. He's just not him towards me anyway. It's just not him. You know what I mean? But it's just a whole thing. I think he quickly, thought about it. I mean, as he going up, I know it weighs heavy on him. Yeah. You know what I mean? But one thing I do know about him though, as he growing up, he is his own dude though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm glad you went back. I'm glad you went back to talk to him, bro, because that shit goes another way if you never go up them stairs and had that conversation, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most definitely, man. And then I had it now, and to be honest with you now, man, like the feeling that I have towards him almost changed, bro.
Yeah. That's a ripple. That moment in time, and that's why I was saying, like, that's why I asked that question, because that moment is a ripple, bro. Like that conversation changed everything, you know. And I'm not saying for the better, for the worse, or nothing like that. Just it adds something to y'all's relationship forever, like for the rest of time, bro.
Yeah.
You know?
No doubt, man. I'm even finna put a freaking new system in his car, man. You know we going too far, bro.
He said you gonna pay.
No, he didn't ask for that, but I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, I also got a couple thoughts coming off Tisha's thoughts, right? The first one is this. Tisha, you brought up shitty orders. My thought is this. I don't look at no orders as shitty orders. I know some people do. If I'm there, we lit. Like that's how I look at it. Like, yo, if I'm here, we lit, right? And I've been like that since I was an E1.
And that's essentially what that chief taught me is there's no such thing as shitty order. So I stopped saying that, and I stopped letting my sailors say that too.
Yeah,
shitty locations though. Shitty locations.
It definitely is.
So,
you about to find out.
The other part is this. Like one of my earliest kind of lessons in prioritizing family, when I was trying to get married, and I had put now I wanted to do some stuff, and I just definitely didn't think it was going to happen. So I went to talk to my chief, who was a woman at the time. And I don't talk about her a lot because I was at LCS and honestly, it was just for mustering purposes kind of. But I put in leave and I told her why, I was trying to get married. And for some reason, it was a reason why I was saying, but I can always change this and I don't have to do this and all that, just kind of offering my own detriment already. You know what I mean? So she was like this, let me tell you something. She was like, me and my husband went into our wedding, and I know Angeline won a ceremony. That's so it's a whole nother part of it where me and Angeline wasn't living together till we got married, and then she wanted a ceremony and all that. So I'm trying to get her, over where I'm at. Let's have this, let's do this. But she was like, when me and my husband got married, we got married at the courthouse. And that's how me and Angeline did. We did the courthouse first. She was like, and we promised ourselves a wedding. And she's like, we still ain't had that damn wedding. It's been like 13 years. She was like, so if you saying you're going to do it, don't not do it. Right. And so one of the things that I've always said to my sailors for as long as I remember is the Navy takes an extraordinary amount of time away from you and your family. So you need to put an extraordinary amount of effort into you and your family to make up for that extraordinary amount of time. You have to. You got to do shit that, get a fucking hot air balloon. You know what I'm saying? You got to do shit that ain't never been done. You got to make up, for that space. Now, the other part, right? And then I'm going to back to you, Tisha, I take leave. I go on leave. I've taken leave for a couple days just with the baby leave and everything else. I think I've taken leave for them. Somebody told me that, you ain't been here for 3 weeks straight. You know what I mean? I think that's somebody said. I think I take leave at least 2 days out the month. And it ain't for, it wasn't even intentional, but I noticed that it was happening. But at least every month and a half, every 2 months, I take a day or two of leave. When I'm at work, I'm going to give you all of me, 100% of me. That's every single person. If you come in my office, you got all of me, but I'm going to take leave. I'm gonna get out of here for a couple of days. I'm gonna take leave. I got to. And it's something happened with my daughter, or but I have to do that with the family. And they call it cohesion, right? Because they used harmony, right? Work. Because they used to say work home balance, but now people say harmony because it's never going to be balanced.
It's never going to be balanced, yeah.
Right, so just harmonize it or whatever. So
yeah. Sometimes the Navy's going to get more, but you just got to make sure that you pour that back into your family when that evolution or whatever it is over. Redirect that energy into your family. And I feel like I gave, in a lot of instances, I feel like I was going hard for the Navy. And then I was out of gas to where it was when it came to family, I was just tired. I used to come home just tired mentally, drained, or just overburdened with like the type of cases that we were working. So yeah, definitely put that energy back into your family.
Yeah.
So now we've had a lot of switching back to the pod. Y'all have anything else on family before we switch back over? Okay, so switching back over to the pod. We've had a lot of guests that's come on and got a lot of good advice, good insight, met a lot of great people. What's some advice that y'all have gotten from a guest on the pod that just really stuck with you on your journey of CMCism? We'll make up a word today too.
Something stuck with me. Oh man. Well, for me, like and I'm because I'm thinking about this like right now in time, is that I'm gonna go to the last guest, man. And me and Dumbo kind of talked about this a little bit, man. David Sledge came on, retired warrant officer 5. And me and Dumbo had then dabbled a little bit and we actually had a conversation about books, right? And writing books and things like that. And he really intrigued me. Now this ain't got nothing to do with the CMC stuff, but he really intrigued me as a guest because my whole thought process all the time was, man, we got to you read a book, you got 500 pages, 600 pages. How the hell I'm gonna think of something like that, or whatever, which I do. I think I could, but
yeah.
He was talking about his books and he was talking about like 40 some pages, 50 pages, 80 pages or whatever. Right. And I had a different outlook when he said that. Man, I could take a year or two of my life, man, writing 100 pages was easy. Right. So it made me think about that from a guest standpoint, man, a lot of insights from that. And I kind of like was all in when it came to that episode with him, man, and what he represents. But it's a lot of great leaders that we had on the pod. From you talked to the Fleet Kingsbury on his insights on the things he done in the Navy was pretty good too. On his thought process and the things he had to go through. To be honest with you, man, I'm gonna miss the episode that I've been wanting to do forever, and that's with retired Fleet Kemp. Like I've been waiting on this, for a long time, and I'm actually gonna be deployed. So I cannot wait to see that episode when it comes out, because he's one of those guys that I didn't know personally, but I met him when he went to my SCA. He came and spoke at when I went to SCA.
Yeah, I'm ready for him too, then.
Yeah, and it kind of stuck with me. Me and him had a conversation, like I DM'd him, We had a conversation like that. But I really, man, this dude got some stuff, man, that if you start looking at his page and the things he talk about, it kind of in lines when it comes to a leader that I want to be, man. So I'm most definitely going to miss that episode.
Yeah. For me, I'm going to try to keep it brief and just go down the line. Dean Howe. What I liked about talking to Dean was, number one, he kept it real. He kept it 100. He also was doing a podcast. He was also doing a 75 hard thing he was doing. But what I really liked about that conversation with him, he is a CMC, was that he was still like finding himself still in this world and discovering himself in life, and like humble enough to have that conversation about this journey of self-discovery that he was on, and it was going to stretch until he got out of the Navy and stuff. So it was a superhuman conversation. I had already talked to him offline when he was trying to start his podcast, and it was just the same. He was just as humble, inquisitive, asking questions and stuff like that. So that was I really liked that. And I still follow like his adventures, because that's what I would say, because he'd be on like the seawall at work, and he just kind of, discovering himself and keeping it real. So I like that. It's funny, I just got an alert about this person in my phone, in my watch right now, because we follow each other on the fitness app. But Desmond Walker, Commander Walker, I think that whole episode was just amazing. And it was good to get that level of a conversation from a commanding officer as a senior enlisted leader, because I think at that time I either had just got selected or I was in the seat, but like just talking to him, and then the outreach that he does outside of the pod too inspired me as well, and just how humble. Another one, super humble. I went to his ship, like I said, the first day I got there, I felt like I was supposed to be there. He let me in his office, his stateroom, and all types of stuff. Jay Montanero, right? Damon's personal friend of Damon's, right? You're gonna be working over there, right? That's where you're going. He over there where you go, right?
Yeah.
But Jay was the first CMC that we talked to. And like, even outside of just the conversation, and I met Jay before too and stuff like that, but even outside of the conversation, just Jay been a good mentor, sounding board, and just somebody that keeps up with me, even if, no, like he just reaches out to me all the time, and I really like that and appreciate that from Jay. And I know Jay listened to the pod, so shout out to you, Jay. Appreciate it. But that was a good episode. That was my first kind of like real glimpse into like the CMC's like inner thoughts and shit. Cause we asked him questions about like if he ever had a bad chief, just all types of stuff. And he kept it real. Jervy Alota, captain, it was a lot of motivation there. And it kind of showed me he's a special person. You know what I mean? And he said something on our Instagram, like he would love for like any of us could be SELs for him. I feel the same way, man. I would love to be a CMC for him any fucking day. You know what I mean? Just because I know that, like, one of the things you got to think about with this is like me. I got a big, I got a big imagination, and like I said, I'm visionary. I don't think I would have to limit that shit for him, because he has a big personality already. He make big impact. So that's another thing, because I don't think as a CMC or a senior enlisted leader, you want to like outshine your CO. With him, I don't think I would ever have to worry about that. Like ever, you know what I'm saying? Like ever, like having a bigger personality than him or impact. So I feel like with that now, I could go and do a million different things because I'm not worried about like him feeling like I'm like trying to outdo him or something like that, right? That's kind of what I like. And I'm telling you, it could be like that. Like, so that's kind of really what I like about him, and just everything, like him putting the sellers first. Like Damon said, Kingsbury, Paul understands leadership in the way that like is formulaic, is like, it's quadrants. It's like, so he got a really good way of kind of piecing all that stuff together. And he been there, done that, right? That was the name of the episode. And then the last one is Bill, man. The Bill Houlihan conversation. What you see is what you get from Bill. Like, if I read a Facebook post from Bill, I read it in his like voice, like the way he was saying, like he is. So like, I recently talked to him. Same way. I went to his office when I made SEL. Same way he was when he was on the pod. Same diction, same tone, same, and just that conversation. And not as much when we talked about policy, which was great. Just him being like free and able to talk about policy with us. But when he was talking about his granddaughters and his family and shit like that, it helped me kind of remember to put some of that stuff to the forefront. And the last thing I would say about him and Paul is that I could hear in their conversation growth. Like them talk about the difference between when they first became CMCs to like years down the line, and like the things they learned and what they realized, regrets, and what they could have done better. And I took all of that shit in.
Yeah. I must have Bill, man. You know what, man? That's going to be for another podcast, man. But I know I kind of talked about it a little bit, but I would love one of these days. We're going to talk about the conversation when Bill reached out to me the first time. You know what I mean? Like that conversation was so like, I had so many emotions going through my head about that conversation, because we kind of called him out a little bit. I think Tish called him out a little bit when we first started. Yeah. But the whole conversation, when me and Dumbo was talking about it and all that stuff, I was like, man, Dumbo, he reached out to me. You know what I mean? I mean, that conversation on Wednesday, we're going to talk about it, man. Like, it was funny, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that was. What advice would you give yourself moving forward as you enter this new journey as, CMC?
Ooh. Advice I will give myself when I was, You say advice I give myself?
Moving forward. Yeah. Because you're at the beginning stage of, all right, you know, something is coming, you know. I like to kind of take a reflection and be like, okay, what do I need to do moving forward to make sure that I stay the course or I stay grounded? Something that you might need to work on.
Yeah. Advice I give myself is probably like, you know the work. You know what I mean? You know what you got to put in. It's not a whole lot of changes, that I need to do. I just got to be open, not going nowhere, trying to change the world. You know what I mean? It's this stuff already in place. You tweak some stuff here, tweak some stuff there, and bring yourself there, man. Like the things you have done in your Navy career got you where you are at right now. Of course, things are not the same everywhere, but bring that to the table. Bring yourself to the table. You know your worth. So bring that to whatever situation it is and be open and be transparent and all those things that we need to be as leaders, man. Just like I say, just want to be good, want to be want to help sailors and all that stuff, man. Just do that. And that's genuinely what got me where I'm at. And I'm genuinely gonna keep doing it.
Keep doing it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
stay genuine and authentic.
Yeah, mine is come up for air, man. Kind of see where you are, recognize the rooms that you're in, recognize the job that you're doing, and recognize that I had a conversation with a E5 at my command the other day. And he was, and I'm telling you, Tish, I don't think about this type of shit. Like when it comes to rank and my mind just don't work like that, So, but I run into one of my E5s. He was like, yo, like, how did you become a CMC? Like, what did you do? I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, I never even really thinking about that. So it's like, so now I start to really, and he kind of also helped me. And the word is not humble because I would think the opposite, right? But he kind of helped me go back and think like, damn, like I was an E5 before, wondering how somebody could do this, right? Yeah. So just understand who I am sometimes, because sometimes I don't think about it. So that's it. Just come up for air.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So what advice would you give to someone who's like a, E5 through chief, senior chief, who aspires to be a CMC?
Work, and so everybody don't understand what that look like, but that's to your measure, right? Like work to your measure, man. Work, put in that, wherever you put yourself at, work and take care of your people. I think they the two ingredients. Work and take care of your people. Don't be no fucking slouch. Don't sell dreams. Don't sell promises. Like say what you're gonna do what you say you're gonna do, and take care of your people. And understand when your people are taking care of your ass. You know what I mean? And I mean, at the end of the day, whatever it is that you want to do, you'll do.
Yeah. And all that stuff Dumbo said, man, it's all about sailors and taking care of sailors and all that stuff. But also set goals for yourself and keep taking bites out of it. You know what I mean? Keep taking bites out of your goal that you set. And then don't close those opportunities up either, though. Like, don't be one-minded on anything you do. Do not be one-minded on it. Things can shift and it's okay. You know what I mean? To shift. And you can adjust to it and whatever you want to do, just keep, like Dumbo said, keep going the course, man. Like, it's people who done this before us have set the path for us, right? So a lot of times what we got to do is just go for it. It's already there. Yeah. Right? You just got to go for it and put your twist on it. And you put yourself on it and you do things your way. But at the end of the day, it's that same path though. Right? It's the same path, man, that you're trying to go. You can go officer, you can go, you can go the CMC route. Whatever that path is, it's already there for you. It's just how you want to get there, and the love of sailors, man, to be a CMC or anything like that. I feel like you have to have a love for sailors. Right. Right. So.
Yeah. So I'm a retired LN. Love my job. But I know that I've worked with a lot of CMCs, and actually working with a CMC. I was actually a CTA. And I was working with a CMC, and I saw how closely he was working with the LN, and that's what made me want to be an LN. But I know that as a CMC, one of their toughest jobs is like the DRB, the holding sailors accountable piece.
Yeah.
And I think that it can be even harder when you have a senior enlisted that you're trying to hold accountable also. And, we get on here, we talk about people who have their face on the Navy Times. Those sailors who, do something and not the CMCs, but just like the senior enlisted who end up on the front of the Navy Times. And a lot of times we've said, well, I'm pretty sure somebody knew, it just didn't get like that. What's your thoughts or plan or whatever on accountability when it comes to you as a CMC being the one to now holding sailors accountable, and especially senior leadership accountable?
I don't take it personal, I don't take it personal at all. So it's one of those things where it's like, I'll give a small example before I go too deep. When I first took the job, something happened. Like the first week that I was there by myself, some shit happened. And like leadership, was looking at like taking care of the sailor. It was like this conversation where like taking care of the sailor would compromise like our integrity though. So, but like, it's like, let's take care of the sailor. Like, but it's like, yeah, but like, what about like our integrity? Like I have to be the person that like my captain trusts, like as much as y'all trust, but I got to be the person that my CO trusts. So like I need, like, he don't need to find out about this some other time and know I knew about it type shit. That's
right.
That would kind of impede our trust, like right there. So I had to have a conversation with my dad actually and kind of talk to him about it and get like his thoughts. And it wasn't just because I needed him. It was because I needed that reassurance. Like I needed that reinforcement. Like, okay, I'm not crazy. Right. And he said and he did some time in the Navy too. But with the little bit of time he did in the Navy, like, how he's an older guy too. So just the wise words he gave me just made me be like, yeah, okay. Right. So for me, if you're khaki, man, we can't take this shit personal. If you know you fucked up, you fucked up, dog. like you gotta do this, man. Like don't be doing that. You know what I mean? Like it's the same thing like me. If we, I can't blame, like I'm about to be 40 in a couple years. I can't blame nobody for nothing I do anymore. So anybody, if you're in a mess and you like in that position of leadership, you can't be sitting there blaming. That's bullshit. You know what I mean? Like you just can't. Like I'm at the point now, Tish, where like you saw like the lady from En Vogue or whatever, Dawn Robinson is her name.
Yeah.
She like living out of car.
Right.
So I was listening to her talk, right? And like the moment she brought up like her mom house and she started talking about like her mom house and how she just couldn't stay with her mom, I kind of checked out. Cause like she wasn't taking accountability. I'm like, yo, like this lady not taking no accountability for like her actions at all. Like, so I like, yo, we gotta hold you. And I don't take it personal. I think it's more so on the side of the sailors though. Like now, if it's a chief going through some shit and like, he did some shit, like he would probably like, I don't want it to be confusing, but I gotta hold you accountable, bro. Like it's not personal to me. I don't hate you. I don't think you were bad, but you did some fucked up shit. Depending on if you did some wild like child molestation shit, it's a different conversation. But so I don't know. Just don't take it personal, man. That'd be the thing, Damon. Like people be taking it personal when they start going. I told a seller one day. I said, "Hey, man, I got to take you to DRB, right? You're gonna hold that against me. Ain't no way I would ever hold that against you." Okay. Did this person act different after DRB? Yes. They acted it wasn't the same connection that we had before. Because they took that shit personal. And my DRBs ain't personal. We fact find and that's it.
Yeah.
So I don't know how else to say it. You can't take that shit personal, G.
Yeah.
same with me. I mean, it's easy for me. And then like Dumbo said, the growth that I done had in the Navy, you know what I mean? That made this way more easier than probably it would have been a long time ago. If you fucking up, you're fucking up. And we got to hold you accountable. The worst thing you can do in the Navy is do not hold anybody accountable and then try to hold somebody accountable. Right. So that's some of the worst things that you can do as a leader. Right. So you got to be on the same page. If somebody in khakis or whatever and they messing up, you got to hold them accountable. That's it. It's no way around it. There's no way anything. And like Dumbo says, fact finding, because you got to go explain to your boss what's going on. And then we always have pre-briefs for the briefs. You know what I'm saying? So everybody, you know what's going on, man. So that's all to it. I mean, and then hopefully they understand that too, though. Like Dumbo said, though, if they did something jacked up, they know we got to do something about it. You know what I mean? You can't just think I'm going to say, okay, yeah, it's cool. Don't worry about it, man. I got you. Nah. Yeah. That ain't how that works, man. So, we got to hold them accountable.
Yeah.
I've had to do that already with chiefs and, all types of shit. Had to have those conversations. I mean, they ain't easy because it's a person, but had to have them.
Right.
Yeah. No doubt.
So, do the Navy have y'all locked in for 30?
Got me locked in for 30, no doubt.
Yeah,
damn.
But I already did. Tish, I already been in freaking, in a couple of months, I've been in 27. So.
You knocking on 30 doors.
Yeah. I'm most definitely locked in.
Now,
Dumbo starting to sound like he locked in too. Dumbo used to, hey, look. Dumbo used to be like,
face.
Hey, look. Dumbo used to be more like, and I'm going to tell you a personal story this is me personally, that with me and Dumbo, we talk a lot, right? So when I was probably 85%, Dumbo was doing no more than probably about 22 years at max, right? Like that was my whole, my thought process. And the only reason why I was thinking like that is because, when he already ahead of time, his mindset was like, if I do this, do that, blah, 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 right? Dumbo always talk like that. But when he had the baby too, I was like, shit, ain't no way anybody keep Dumbo with the baby. That was my first thought process. Ain't no way. Because I know how Dumbo, Dumbo, like, love, the baby and stuff. So I'm like, I know Dumbo, it's going to be hard for Dumbo, But now, as things have happened, now he done got his feet wet with the baby and all that stuff. I don't know no more, man. I think Dumbo has an opportunity to do some great things in the Navy, like up there because of the amount of time he's been in and where he at right now. So now I think the conversation for Dumbo, this me talking. It's going to be a little bit more. I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult now to be like, okay, I'm going to make the decision right now. You know what I mean? I think you got to really think about it now because you in a good spot right now.
It really is. You got a lot of time to do a lot.
I don't know.
A lot of impact.
Yeah, I don't know.
You ran 30.
No, Tisha. I'm be straight. 30, I don't know. For a couple of reasons. I don't know how bad the podcast has fucked up, chances of higher level success, But even just outside of that, with having a baby, having a kid, and I watched all the horror stories and just trying to pick orders and everything you got to go through with that time and it's a lot. It shit ain't easy. It's things that happen inside our household that I would prefer not to happen, and some of it has to do with being in the Navy. No matter how much your wife gets in and understands, it's still things, right? It's still things that happens. That's the first part. The second, I think so. But the other opposing thing is I want to go to a ship. I need to go to a ship. These next orders I'm looking at are not a ship, right? I want to go be a CMC on a ship. I want to go be a CMC, and it's a fleet job that I want, right? So if my career and shit takes me to I hope we could still be piloting at that time. Who knows, right? But if my career and stuff take me to the fleet job, then yes. But if my career trajectory don't seem like I'm going to go to that fleet job, then nah, I can't see myself just staying in as a CMC, riding it out so I could get the most out of my retirement when I got energy for the world, for like other shit. You know, I don't want the Navy to be, I never have and never will want the Navy to be like the highlight of my life. Like it's other things that I want to be like, yo, I did that and I did this. You know, I want my daughter to know that for that. I think we building something really beautiful with this shit that we do here. You know what I mean? So I don't know, like, you know, DOD might have a say in like how much we can grow, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's just hard, Tish. Like my 20-year mark is 2027. And I have to go beyond that, right? Just from obli and, you know, other stuff like that. But now I'm at a point that I'm not setting myself up to go to a ship, but I want to go to a ship. So I'm gonna have to go to a ship after these orders are. If I don't, then I will be going to a ship. But then if I go to a ship next, then I'm gonna want to finish with shore duty. So if I go to a ship, I want to. So it ain't looking like no earlier than 25, just because I want to, you know. But I don't know. I don't know about 30, 33, 35. You know, because there's also this other part of it where it's like, when do I stop being impactful? I don't want to stay in to the point that I'm not impactful.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's my thing too, man. My thing is now, Tish, and reason why I say 30, like it could be past 30, right? And the reason why I'm saying this stuff is, one is the impact, of course, but the other one, my thought process is, I'm not doing nothing after this.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that part of the career is a career. Then I'm gonna see what this podcast. I'm gonna just say he ain't no we podding. We podding, bro. We podding. You know what I mean? So like, I want to see what this go to though, man. This podcasting thing. I really think we on the upswing, man. The motivation and I actually go to sleep thinking about the podcast. As long as I keep that energy, I'm good. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I ain't happy I'm not happy being an older person. You know what I mean? So I got skipped in high school, right? I got skipped when I was in high school. And now my trajectory in the Navy, I've been kind of ahead of, you know, my peer group. So I'm used to being the young person in the room. You know, if I stay to like 35, I would like to be the youngest person that did. I ain't used to being the OG. You know what I mean? So I would want to bounce myself somewhere else and be the young person in that space or something like that, though.
Yeah.
If you do about 30, 35, look at all that damn wisdom as a CMC. Good gracious.
Bro, if I
did 35, that's about 17. 15, 13 years as a CMC.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's like some McPond level type stuff.
Should be, right? But, you know, they could be like, yo, 10 years ago, you know, on the pod, you said fucking this.
I know, right?
You're done. But, and that'd be like, and that's crazy because that'd be like some person being political where it's like, but what did the sailors think about that? Like, what did they do that? You know, what did the sailors think? And it's funny because I had a conversation about this very recently. And that's my biggest question. Like, what do the sailors think? Did the sailors think this person that said they cheated on a PFA back when they was an E3 shouldn't be the big pond? Do the sailors think that? Or do you think that? You know?
Right. Yeah. That's huge. Because that's really what it is.
Who combing through that shit? They combing through that shit too, boy.
Bro,
right. Right. Because it is so political at that level that they would be like digging up stuff like that. Like they'll watch every episode.
Yeah, and people like when people. I was telling somebody the other day because they was talking about somebody was saying something about something. You got to understand that people use these. They don't. I'm like, these people don't care about that. What they saying? They just using that right now. I forgot what it was. But I'm like, they just using that to their advantage. So if somebody was mad at me about something, they'd be like, yo, come on, man. The same dude that said this on episode 45. Like, yo, come on, dog. Like, I get it.
Yeah, man.
How do you think that the podcast is going to do you think it'll affect you as a CMC?
I mean, it affects us on a day-to-day. For me, it affects me because it make me want to go harder. You know, it got a positive, like a net positive impact on me all the time. It just make me want to do more and go harder. It's a bridge. This podcast has become a bridge. Like just from us announcing that we made CMC, like I got like followers and more friends and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The pod got more people. Like, people probably was like, man, who the fuck are those dudes? Now we both make CMC. They like, oh no, like, yeah, we can listen to them. They might know what they're talking about.
Right.
So I think again, it validates some things. So I'm trying my best to be the same person, of course, but this, in my opinion, it should be an extension to the way that I lead for my sellers. So I slide that in every episode. Like, if my sellers at my command listen, like, I'm intentionally talking to them too. You know what I'm saying? So, and I try to be aware of that. So that's the only thing. It just made me go harder.
Yeah.
Same here. I mean, I don't look at it as nothing that's look like different, but I also think it validates the hard work and the research and the stuff that we do on a daily basis. And again, it's about sailors, man. So I don't know, man. I'm just too excited for this shit, man. Like, I'm just like, I'm like crazy excited, crazy to get going. And being a CMC at VFA 113 Stingers.
Hey, so I did want to express something, Damon. I ain't ever really talk about this. I did want to express, like, I always thought make rank would invalidate the podcast, man. Like
really?
I always thought like it'd be harder, like, especially for like a brand. Like, it's some listeners that listen to us since we was Senior Chief and Chief on the DDG bitching about insert, right? I always thought that, like, now if somebody get introduced to us as like two, like, I wouldn't have, if I was a junior seller, I'd be like, yo, it's and somebody was like, yo, it's this podcast with like 2 CMCs on it. Like, I'd be like, okay, I don't want to hear that shit. Like, I always thought like that would. So I hope that, and I was talking to somebody about this recently, and they was like, nah, y'all always knew how to talk to people. I hope that could continue with like a brand new listener. Because for a younger person, sometimes they don't feel like you're in it with them. Like, man, you're a fucking CMC, man. Like, what are you?
Right.
Like, what are you? Like, what's your stroke?
You were born a CMC.
Yeah. So I always thought that would honestly invalidate. We didn't change. I didn't have to change the description of the podcast like 4 times now. You know what I mean? But I always thought that would invalidate. I always thought that, yo. You know. So that's the thing where it's like, damn, yo. Yeah. I don't know, have you ever thought about that, Damon?
Yeah, I mean, I never thought about it like that. I thought it would validate us more. But when you say that though, it does, man, because it's like what these two guys know about motherfucking what they know what's going on in the trenches,
right?
In those streets in the P-ways, you know what I mean?
Like, we up here selling, we selling some shit wrapped in honey or something, like, just,
right?
Like, yeah. Like,
and they probably thought it would be like very pro Navy.
We are pro Navy. Don't do that.
I mean, not like
shout out the Navy, the whole DOD, the whole deal.
Not like that, but he's like, you ain't about to make me lose my job today. No, but what I'm saying is like the gun hole, like the Navy can't do anything wrong, and the leadership is always right type of mentality. That's probably, if I'm a junior sailor and I see 2 CMCs, that's probably the first thing that I would think about if I'm a junior sailor, honestly. Like, oh, they're gonna be talking about some boring, corny stuff. Like, I'm good on that. Because I feel like this podcast is not just good for those who are like Joe Navy and want to talk about the Navy all the time, but
it's good for the shitbags too.
It's good for all the people. You know what I'm saying? We SP all the way to EP up here. We got something for everybody. We got something for everybody.
At the ECP with your headphones on, listening to the pod.
Because it's relatable, and like the name Permission to Speak Freely. Like, we speak freely about things. We say things that other people wouldn't dare say. We say things that people will only say like to their peers in the mess behind closed doors or whatever. But we just keeping it real. We're giving our thoughts. We keep it PC sometimes. We
got a new name though. It's called Permission to Speak with Caution. But we're not going to change it. We're not going to change it officially. But hey, for the listeners, it's called Permission to Speak. Hey, shout out to Ebony too, who gave me that. Ebony Wilson. Permission to Speak with caution.
With caution. Because we got to keep these CMCs off the cover of Navy Times. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody got time for that. Not for the pod. They will be like,
oh man, they got that money. You remember that CMC was on Permission to Speak for you? They got that money.
Right. Listen, that new NAB admin might have been because of our asses.
Hey,
like, what? Let's shut that down. No.
I don't know how many more questions you got, but before
I don't have there, man. Go ahead.
Before we get up out of here, I want to shout out every division I had. Everybody, right? I can't do too much with the names and all that shit. For some reason, I thought you was going to ask a question about like women sailors, Tish. But the ones I had, super significant to my advancement as a father, as a husband, and as a chief, and as a leader. Like all of y'all, every single one of y'all, like a man set a fucking standard for me as a man. So I appreciate that. All my COs that I had throughout my career. I made, like I said on my post, I said on Facebook, I'm glad that, mistake number 1, y'all forgave me. Number 2, number 3, I told y'all it would be a 4th. You know what I mean? So I appreciate y'all. My CO right now, I appreciate you. Love and light. My Kareem Washington, John McIntyre, my first 2 chiefs in the Navy, Nick Hip, Justin Bragg, Stephen Wills, Ang Lee, Chris Mevy, Alvis Sanchez, man, like it's so many of y'all, man. My first division, my first guys, the bros, man, Joey Gonzalez, man, little bro, keep it up. You got a bright future. Just so many people. The Bush Mess. Shout out to the Bush Mess. Like I said, I know y'all in mourning right now. My people at Waterfront Readiness and in Annapolis, my people at Annapolis right now, Fleet and Family over there. I love y'all. Y'all know that. I just want to shout everybody out that has something to do with me, right? It don't got nothing to do with making CMC, just something to do with me. My mom, who support the podcast all the time. She be even in Damon comments, right? I'm happy to see you back. So my mom, my wife, of course, Amari, God. I forgot to do that on my little CMC post. God, of course, first. That was my foundation was in church and, God and stuff like that. So I'm super appreciative of everything that got put into me as a person. So I could take all of that shit into my recipe and lead. I never look at it like it got put in me as a leader. It got put in me as a person. And who I am as a person is what helps me while I'm in this position to be a leader. So, and Damon, all y'all, like all of that Chiefs mess that I kind of shouted some of those people out earlier, but definitely, man, I appreciate all that. Last but not least, and all my CMCs too, all y'all that helped me out throughout the way, all y'all, even right now, Kim, shout out to you, all y'all. But I already said it, but I want to say it again. My sellers. Somebody asked me about like leadership advice that I got. The best and most leadership advice I ever got, I said it before on this pod more than once, it came from people more junior than me. The best and most leadership advice I ever got came from people more junior than me. And I appreciate y'all. And hopefully I was able to give y'all something back in the course throughout it all. So yeah, that's how I wanted. I didn't want to not do that. So.
Yeah, I was actually about to go right into that. So that was a good old swing.
Oh, for real, yeah.
Yeah. Damon, what's your final thoughts, final thank yous?
Yeah, same as Dumbo. I don't want to do, steal all Dumbo. Don't think I'll be stealing all this, especially on his post and all that stuff.
She was pressing me, David. She kept pressing. I'm like, all right, David still was.
I know, man. But I'm the same way, man. I want to think. I don't know all the names and all that stuff, man. But I had a lot of people who was influenced that influenced me in my naval career. So big shouts out to you. And this goes back to like 98 on my first ship, first chief, Terry Nash. Hey, big time guy, big time, man. And the things that he done as a leader, man, most definitely resonates in me every day when it comes to taking care of sailors. And he most definitely took care of me. And that's my first ship, the USS, Gary, until now on the USS Nimitz, man. Like the Navy is the Navy, but it's all about the relationship that you build through every command I've been through. And I'd say I've been through a lot of, 20, almost 27 years. So I've been in a lot of them, and a lot of people, that touch me, and hopefully I touch them also. But leadership styles that I didn't learn, through the times, man, and times, good and bad, has been great, man. And I never thought, even when I was in 22 years, that I'd be standing here today telling you guys I'm going to be a CMC of some command. That's crazy. Even think about a little young Mississippi boy, man, grew up with not a whole lot to say I'm going to be, in that type of leadership role in the Navy. So, again, I want to thank everybody, man, that has something to do with it. Everybody who knows me, they know that I'm a genuine person, man. And I really, really, really do love this shit. So, so I just want to, say thank everybody, man. Dumbo, Tish, you guys know how I feel about you guys, man. And we're gonna keep making some magic on the internet, man, and keep pushing this pod, man, far as we can go, man. So I want to make sure I say that.
And I just want to say, from me and on behalf of the United States Navy, I won't be a spokesperson for the United States Navy. I'm pretty sure they would endorse this. To thank y'all, a good leader is something that's invaluable, especially, in a military type of setting. You two are genuine. You're charismatic. You really do care about your people. You care about your family. Y'all just genuinely good people. And like I said earlier, like I couldn't think of a, more deserving group of people than you two. What you bring to the pod, what you bring to the Navy in your job and on the pod, it's invaluable. And I think that the Navy did recognize that. There's no doubt in my mind that, during the selection board, they know who y'all are. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all are just good people, good leaders. And the amount of impact that y'all have had on sailors, those seen and unseen, is immeasurable. Like, you took this platform, y'all came up with this idea, and it was just kind of to reach more people. Like, you guys didn't limit yourself to the sailors that you had, that you could touch on your ship, and the sailors that you can touch in your area. You said, how can we touch more people? You know what I'm saying? And that's a big testament to the type of leaders that y'all are. You're always going to reach for the impossible, or reach for how can we be better? Not just how do you make yourself better? How do you make the Navy as a whole better? And that's the qualities, that the Navy's looking for in good leadership altogether. And, even as a person who's retired, who I'm like starting back at kind of the bottom, but not really to pay real good. But I'm, making my way back up. I'm not in a leadership role, and I'm learning. Like, when I got out, like I said, I still had a lot of gas in the tank. I wasn't a chief for a long time. I was only at my second duty station as a chief. So there's still a lot of growth that, as a leader, that I can learn. And I learn it here, on this podcast. As a retiree, I'm still learning leadership. I'm still going through growth that will help me on the outside. I've even had because I'm in the Navy, being in the Navy, in the military, being a leader, it gives you street cred on the outside anyway. And so, to be able to continue to hone that skill and be around good people like you guys only helps me on this side too. So you guys aren't just influencing sailors in the Navy. You also are influencing retirees, people who got out, of the Navy and who are going on and doing their own thing. They're still able to get the skills that are you don't really get that on the outside. They just kind of, get the leadership. They just kind of throw them out there. There are training courses, but I feel like it does not touch anything that the Navy does and what you get by being in the military, caring about people, And so I just want to thank y'all for continuing to be authentic, being yourself. Y'all haven't given I'm a celebrity type persona with having the podcast and people knowing you. Y'all have not ever done that. And being I don't want nobody to be trying to be talking about, oh, y'all some celebrity CMCs. Nah. Nah, they some real CMCs. The pod was only something that was a check. It was like a addition, but it ain't that ain't all that got them here. Y'all are some good ass people, hands down. And so on behalf of the United States Navy, I just want to thank you guys and say congratulations.
You know what, Tish? I want to say something. Tish said the words keeping it real. I just want to keep it real on something also, man. Tish is the first influencer that don't have social media. I never in my life heard of shit like that. Dumbo, have you ever heard of some shit like that, man? Influencer does not have social media. This is crazy.
He said that to me. He was like, how you gonna be a social media influencer and you don't have social media? In my mind, I was like, I ain't no social media influencer. He was like, whether you know it or not, you are a social media influencer. So yeah, I do the impossible.
It don't make no sense though. It ain't doing the impossible. You should have something. I was talking to Tisha about a clip. I think that's what made you probably think about it, Dave, because I was talking about a clip. She's like, what clip? I'm like, it's on social media.
Maybe I'll be back one day, but for
I hope so.
just for the sake of my mental health, I just had to
right now on there. You booming on social media right as we speak.
Yeah.
Am I? I don't even know.
Post right now that's going. Hey, I got one more thing to say, some advice to people. This is the secret. This is how I did it.
I wanted to become the combination between Denzel and Will Smith. And some way, somehow, I was able to accomplish that.